We're speaking to Chang Yi Hern this morning. He is the founder and managing director of JomRun, and he's also in the Forbes 30 Under 30 this year. Wow. Congratulations, Yi Hern, and thank you so much for joining us. Now, as a teenager, you actually said that your dream was always to go to Oxford University. And you managed to do that on full scholarship when you scored 4 A's in your A levels. Now, how did you feel when you achieved this milestone?
Definitely, I think when I first gotten the condition offer from Oxford University, I felt very happy because it was what I have been aiming for the last 2 or 3 years since the year that I'm doing my SPM. Yeah.
Have you always been a smart student, like from primary, secondary?
To me, I don't think so because I think initially during my first few years of high school, I'm quite rebellious, and even for my PMI exams, I only got 3 A's and 4 B's and 1 D. I mean, it's not very bad but it's not considered as a brilliant student. I would say that the turning point was when I was in Form 5. Yeah, I mean, I started studying hard and my results improved a lot, and that is why I started aiming for Oxford University since Form 5.
But what happened in Form 5 to make you change your perspective on studies?
That time, what I was sort of thinking is like, I'm deciding whether I want to go to university. I mean, it's quite a weird thing to say, but when I used to be 16 years old, I felt that studies wasn't important, and I was thinking you don't have to have a degree to start making money and start to get a job. So I thought, why not after finish my high school, I just go to Singapore and be a waiter. And
really?
Yeah, I really thought like that, and I even thought about studying, for accounting courses, and I can just complete it in 2 years, so I don't have to spend 4 or 5 years in university. But in the end, I noticed that I feel that I didn't have the courage to not go to university. So I decided, since I want to go to university, might as well I go for the best one. So starting from Form 5, I just got very hardworking, and my results, everything improved a lot.
I think that's a very interesting way to look at it. If I'm going to go to university, I might as well go for the best one.
Yeah.
Right.
And from someone who's pretty average, just add a little bit of hard work, suddenly, you shot up.
I was quite surprised as well when I got my results.
4 A's, A levels. That's not an
That's
easy
crazy.
feat. How did you do it?
I think since I was a student, I didn't like memorizing for answers. And I believe that since you are going to spend your time studying, might as well understand everything behind it. So I think the difference between me studying compared to a lot of other students that have very good results is that I really try to understand everything is in the textbook. I never memorize answers.
Right.
And I think that is what makes a difference.
You went over for an engineering degree.
Yep.
Was that what you wanted to do?
No. I mean,
I love this chat.
Yes, even when I was 16 years old and 15 years old, I recalled I told my friend that I'm never going to be an engineer, even though I was in science stream. But I told my friend that time, no offense, but that time when I told my friend and I said, engineering, study so hard and you work very long hours and the salary also. I mean, that time I said like that. But in the end, I was really interested in renewable energy, and that was why I chosen to go for engineering. And so happened that my maths and physics are my best subjects.
Right.
And I didn't have the courage to go for a physics degree or a mathematics degree, so I went for engineering.
Yeah.
And you got a full scholarship to Oxford. How did that happen? Did you apply for the scholarship?
Yes, I did apply for a scholarship, but I actually gotten a scholarship after my first year at Oxford.
Oh, okay.
Because after I completed my A-levels, I did spend quite a long time looking for a scholarship. I applied for a lot of corporate kind of scholarships, but I didn't got accepted. And I think the main reason was because that time I lack of soft skill, and my communication skill in English wasn't that good as well, because I came from a Chinese independent high school background. Yeah, so I didn't, unfortunately, even though my results are great and I got a conditional offer from Oxford, but I didn't get any scholarship. So in the end, my parents really need to fork out the money to pay for my first year tuition fee, which was about 20 plus thousand British pounds.
Oh.
Yeah, and that time was a time that the oil, we have the oil crisis,
Yeah.
and the conversion rate was about 6 point something. So it's more than 100,000. So after I went
For
to
1
Oxford,
year.
yep,
Wow.
1 year is about 120 plus thousand in Oxford. So after I went to Oxford I started looking for a part-time job, and I tried my best to ask all my tutors whether there are any scholarships available, because I'm the elder son, and I have 2 more sisters that is going to go to university. So I started applying for a lot of different sorts of, scholarships, and I just got lucky, and this Simon and Junie scholarship started in my first year in university, and I applied, and I was one of the 2 recipient of the scholarship,
Right.
which I think is quite lucky. And they also give me about 10,000 British pounds a year for my living expenses, which I think is more than enough.
Yeah.
Okay,
But you
but
keep saying lucky though. I don't think it's all luck, right? I mean, you deserve that.
I think it's lucky, and I keep on trying. The more times you try, I think the chances of you getting lucky is higher.
I like that. I like that philosophy. You were gonna pursue your master's degree, but you decided not to because you wanted to focus on your app. At that time, you were building an app already.
Yep.
Why was building an app more important than finishing your master's degree?
That's why when I first go to Oxford, I was offered a 4-year course, which include the last year of getting a master's degree. And I did work very hard when I first go to Oxford, and my results were quite good. I got first class in my first year. But in my second year, I started to get interested into banking.
Banking?
Yeah, banking, and
Okay.
also started doing my app that time, because I had this idea of rewarding people when people run. So I started reading books about finance. I started learning things like financial modeling, and I also started coding on my own app. And that is when my results actually dropped a bit. I only got second class in my second year. And what happened was, my tutor told me, and I said, and she said, based on the rules and regulations of Oxford University, you are not actually allowed to work any part-time job and engage in any startup kind of activities
Right.
when you are studying in Oxford. So she told me she normally wouldn't care, but she said I didn't fulfill my potential and my results are dropping. So she told me to make a decision, because she was the one that supported me to get the scholarship as well. So she told me, I think after a 3rd year, you have 2 choices. One of the choices is to let go of your JomRun app and be fully focused in your masters, or I think maybe you should just go and start your startup and stop studying. Yeah,
Wow.
so I think I was in a position that I had to make a difficult decision, and in the end, my decision was to start my own company full time.
What was the logic behind that decision?
After I launched the app live in App Store and Play Store, we applied for the accelerator program of a big corporation. Sunday.
Funding, right?
Yeah, and they actually invested in us. So I felt that I have the responsibility, since I already have corporate investors, and also I already had some of the angel investors, some of the SME bosses. They invested in our company. So I think I'm in a position to take care of the company. And I started losing some of the interest in doing my master's degree, because it's like research, and I like the adrenaline that I get when I'm doing my own business.
Right.
So I just decided to stop studying.
Wow. I mean, for an Asian parent,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's a difficult pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yep.
Like, how did you manage to convince them that you are making the right decision to quit before you actually graduate with a master's?
Almost everyone I knew asked me to complete my master's, because it is fully paid. Why not? And I'm going to get an additional 10,000 British pounds if I do my 4th year. It's a tuition fee. It's like free.
Right.
It's like they pay for my expenses.
No.
And but I think I was quite independent, and I was in a good position to make the decision myself, because I'm getting a full scholarship and my parents are not the one that is paying for the tuition fee lah. So even though they advised me and they suggested me to complete my masters, but I don't feel that bad to stop studying because I mean I'm in a better position lah. And yeah lor, I just made a decision like that lah.
Well, but I read that you have to work like odd jobs. You had to be a delivery boy, a bubble tea promoter, and all that just to fund your app, right? How did you manage to do all that work, start a startup, and work on this app as well?
When I first went to the UK, right, the first thing I did wasn't go for partying and wasn't looking for new friends. The first thing I did was to go around Oxford and look for a part-time job. I think the main reason was because I felt kind of bad that my parents have to pay 120,000 ringgit for my first year. And I think to a lot of youngsters that time, or maybe even youngsters nowadays, they might feel that, some of them, they might feel that it is the parents' obligation to pay for the tuition fee. But I simply just don't feel like that. And I feel very bad that I didn't get a scholarship. So since the beginning, I have been working part-time jobs like working as a bubble tea promoter, doing delivery, etc. And I saved a lot of money when I was doing my degree. For example, I bought a bike with £5, whereas my friends bought a bike with £50. And even, for example, in my third year, I even stay in my friend's storeroom. And and my rental was only £300 a month.
In a storeroom, but it's £300.
I mean, also can stay one. It's livable to me. It's livable. So I did a lot of weird things. But because all the while I knew since I was in high school, I have been interested in starting a business. And I have been planning that maybe one day I need some money to start my business. So even though that time maybe I haven't have any idea of starting JomRun, but I already think I might start something. So I feel that why not, since the university is giving me 10,000 British pounds a year, I don't have to spend everything. I can save maybe 6,000 or 7,000 pounds, and if I convert to Malaysian ringgit, is a lot already. Yeah, so that was my thinking that time, which definitely helped me when I started my business.
Wow, you really do think ahead.
Yeah. Do you slightly regret that? Now that everything's running, maybe I should go back to kind of finish that master's somewhere along the way.
Not really. Because so after my second year, right, I was given an opportunity to minor in, I think it's considered minor in entrepreneurship and management.
Okay.
And in my third year, I actually chose that pathway, and I got quite interested in it. And I think until now, I haven't really regret about the decision of not completing my masters. But I did regret a little bit on, I think I lose out a bit on having fun when I was in university.
Right. Yeah. Because you're working all the time, man.
Yep.
To you, what do you think is, as a young person, right? What do you think is the most difficult thing about starting your own business from scratch?
I think it's about gaining trust of either your potential workers or your clients or your suppliers. I think when you talk to people just didn't trust you. And I think that reason is not because people have this impression that young people cannot start business. I mean, definitely that is part of the reason, but I think the main reason is I cannot deny that when I first started my business, the soft skill of my soft skill is not that good. When I talk to clients, when I just call them, I cold call them, straight away they know I'm someone that never do business and never have a full-time job before. And I think that is why things are very, very challenging. For me to close my first deal, it took me 3 months of cold calling companies in Malaysia.
Right.
And I was in the UK using Skype and call them every morning 4 a.m. And every day also people reject me. Because I just talk like a young person.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But was that the biggest challenge that you faced building this startup?
I do think that the biggest challenge is to
pick up the soft skills.
Is to pick up the soft skill. I think improving yourself is the biggest challenge.
At the moment, where do you think you are soft skills wise? Do you think wow, all those hard knocks, right, made you better at it, better at talking to clients and everything?
I think definitely. And I think as a student, you just sometimes as a student or intern, you just feel like we are entitled to everything. I mean, even though I'm just maybe 1 or 2 years older than them. But I remember that when I first did my internship, I always felt like, wow, I study so much, you ask me to print your paper. I think like that, but now when I think like that, I was like, when I think about it, I feel like, of course, interns sure do things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that the most challenging part is to go from what I said just now to my thinking right now. Because I think the thinking is most important when you start a business.
But to be a businessman, to be an entrepreneur, you had to grow up
Definitely.
a lot faster than everyone else. Though.
Yes.
So you already missed out on a lot in university because of you working so much.
Yes.
Don't you worry that you look at all your friends right now, your peers,
Mm-hmm.
they're out still partying because they're young people.
Yep.
Do you
24. You're
Yeah.
24.
Yes.
So most people are still in college
Exactly,
actually, or
yeah.
in university
Yeah.
at this point.
When are you
right?
gonna actually get to have the fun again?
I
Forget
think-
the fun lah.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I want in my life, and you cannot have everything. You cannot have everything. You have to choose. So when I started my business, I knew I need to sacrifice on my fun, and I don't feel sad about it.
Right.
At what age was it that you decided to do JomRun?
I think second year is 20 years old. 20. Yeah.
What? Wow.
And I read that idea came to you after you saw so many people playing this game, right?
There was this time I came back to Malaysia, and I was in Ipoh with my friend, and I saw a lot of people just walking and running around in the park, and I was like, wow, these people why suddenly so active? Then I think, okay then I go and do some research, and I noticed that they are playing a game called Pokemon Go.
Right.
And,
okay.
And that was what actually inspired me of doing JomRun.
Okay.
So that time I thought maybe if I can reward users with points, and they can use the points within vouchers and free gifts, they might be motivated to run. And my point of view that time was from a point of view of a student that has financial difficulties. That's why I had that idea. And when I told that idea to a lot of my friends, and even some of my closer friends and my family, most of them think that it is not a good idea. Which, if you ask me right now, I think it is. It's theoretically an interesting idea, but business-wise, it's challenging to make that business.
But why running though? Are you a runner? Are
Yeah.
you into that?
I was a very hardcore athlete. I used to represent Oxford University for windsurfing.
Wow.
Yeah, and I run a lot in my high school time and also in university. Yeah, that's why all the while I have interest in running.
Right. And you're still running now because you're running a business,
Yes,
right?
nice pun.
But okay, now that you're 24 and you're managing this this app that employs quite a number of people actually.
Oh, young people.
Yeah, a lot of young people as well. Like, do people question your ability that you are a boss at 24?
I think in my company, most of us are 20 plus years old, but I do have some of the management staff who are maybe 30 plus or even 40 plus years old. And I would say that when I first started the company, when the company was about 5 or 6 people, I had the difficulty that some of my colleagues, some of my staff, they just didn't really 100% believe in me. And they question some of the decision, and sometimes I had the impression that they think I'm young, which is the truth, and I might make very bold decision. So I look at it in a very positive way. I think as a young entrepreneur, your weakness is that you don't have a lot of experience, and I acknowledge it, and that's why sometimes we make very special decisions. But at the same time, I think it is your strength as well, because I think after a person go into the society for maybe 5 or 6 years or even 10 years, for example, right now, definitely compared to me 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, I'm more open to ideas, and it's like, because everything you also never tried before, so you think everything also can work. But now you tried a few things, and you might think that like that means like that. The other way cannot do it. So I think I just spent time focusing on what I think was my strength that time. Yeah.
But you had no fear.
I had nothing to lose. Because if I didn't start my startup, I'm just going to be a student in studying my master's degree. So I thought, I told myself I have 1 year to prove that I can do it. If 1 year I still cannot do it, then I just get a job.
So how many staff do you have now under JomRun?
About 40 to 50, yeah. About 40 to 50.
Wow.
Yeah, and most of us are based in Cyberjaya. I have a few staff in Indonesia, and I used to have a few staff in Sabah as well.
Okay.
How did you like those who are older?
Mm-hmm.
When you interview them,
Yep.
they look at you. This is a kid.
Yes.
How did you convince them, or how did they get the job?
It's actually very hard for me to convince people who have experience and have that I think can help to improve the company, because I think when we just started the company, we needed young people that are good in execution. But slowly, when you expand the team, you need people that have experience in managing people, and I knew that is a gap that I have to fill in, and I just spend a lot of resources looking for the correct person. Because I noticed that for people who are more matured and for more management staff, there are broadly two kinds. One of the type is like they think they are older, so everything they say is correct. And for this kind of people, it's quite hard for a company like us to work with them. So normally we won't recruit people like that. But for the other kind of people is they also know that they have their strength, and young people have our strength as well, and we work together lor. But one thing I can say for sure is that I think for the more mature people to work with us, I think it's quite challenging for them, and it's quite challenging for us as well. And that is one of the challenge that our company have to overcome in the next few years.
What do you think is the difference between millennials and the Gen Ys and the older generation? How differently do they work?
I think I'm not sure about the last generation, or maybe people who are 10 or 20 years older than us, but I'm not sure how they behaved last time when they were young. But a very important thing and a very clear thing that I can see is that for young people that just started working right now, I think all of us are poor in communication skills. And a lot of times when you interview people like our age, they will just say, "Oh, I'm good in communication skills," but they don't really understand what is communication skills, and sometimes a lot of miscommunication happen. I think that is the number one thing, and then the number two thing is I think youngsters nowadays, you cannot scold them. I mean, for a small company, we cannot scold them, because for a big company, I'm not sure, but for a small company, we cannot scold them, and we have to. They are more like, if you keep them happy, they will work hard for the company. But based on what I have observed, I think people who are more matured, they behave quite professionally, which means they know work is work, personal is personal. But for younger people, most of the time it's not that case.
So how do you discipline the young ones?
I mean, this is one of the advantages of me starting a business when I'm 20 plus years old, because in a way, compared to managers who are 30 plus years old, I think I understand them more. Even though I know what they are thinking is a bit hard, but
No, but I feel that you have a very mature mind.
Correct,
so I don't think you can relate to what they're thinking, right?
I cannot relate to, but I understand why they think like that. Because, a lot of things is like you were brought up this way when we, like, for example, when we are studying, your parents tell you your job is to study and you don't have to do any other things. So when they come to work, let's say you hire them as customer service executive, they will think that my job is customer service. If you ask me to do anything else, it's not my job scope. So a lot of things I can understand. I'm not saying that it is right, but at least I would say that I understand about 60-70% of what they're thinking.
Don't you worry that the people that you hire who you cannot scold,
Yep.
that they cannot handle stress?
In a way, I do think that they compared to the management staff, they couldn't really handle much stress. That's the first thing. And the second thing is they are not good in managing people. They can be a very good executor, but they just cannot manage people. And I'm worried, but I think one of my job as a director of a company is to make sure that for all these young people that join my company, I need to make sure that they grow and they learn. If not, not good.
Because you also pick up a new skill in
Yeah, yeah.
managing them, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you have that innate ability to lead? Like, what was it that your parents did with you? Like, because I want to know. I want to, I want to raise my kids like you.
Thank you. I think I am not a natural leader. I think I'm not because throughout my time in high school and when I was a kid, I never played a leader role. I'm not like I'm not like head prefect or what. I'm just a normal student. But I think leadership when you are when you're studying and leadership when you are working is a bit different. And I think the main skill set that a leader has to have in a company is to motivate people. The first thing, and the second thing is to solve issues. My work is to solve all the issues that my subordinates cannot solve. So I think these are the two main things that I have to
Interesting.
work on.
Okay. Now tell us about your app, JomRun. What is it all about? It used to be about, like, if you run, then you get rewarded, right? But now it's changed to something totally different.
Yeah. For now, our main business is actually working with sports organizers, and they can sell their running event tickets or sports event tickets in our application. But since COVID-19 hit us in March, we pivoted slightly and we started working with virtual runs. But we are very picky when it comes to choosing the organizers that can sell tickets in our platform, because there are too many, there are a lot of cases that people join a virtual run and they never get their entitlements. But
What's
when
a virtual run?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Like, how do you do virtual runs?
A virtual run is basically like if you join a run, this virtual run, you sign up and then you get a period of time, for example, 1 month, and you have to complete a certain mileage within this month. So let's say if you complete it, then we will send the entitlements to you. For example, the finisher shirt, sponsors item, medal, and we will send it to your house. So this is what our company has been doing for the last 6 months since COVID-19 hit
So
us.
you had to tie it in with one of those smartwatches and everything in your phone?
Yep. You can tie in, or you can use any of your other smartwatch or any devices to submit the result.
Interesting. So, for example, if I want to start a virtual run, you can join.
Yeah.
Is there an admission fee or participation fee that I have to pay?
There are cases that a virtual run is free, and there are also cases that you have to pay.
And then I can run anywhere I like,
Yes.
but I have to reach the mileage that
Yes.
is stipulated.
Yes, in fact, you can walk also.
Oh,
So,
Right.
but during the most extreme period of MCO, I think March to May, we even allow people to use step counters to just walk in their house.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I make my 10,000 steps every day, so I'm quite
from
okay.
where?
Walking around Astro is already quite huge already, right? Because I love it. I look at it: virtual run, virtual ride, fun run, half marathon, full marathon. It looks kind of fun. So I'm definitely going to be using this app.
Thank you.
Now, have you since starting this app, have you still been actively running as well?
Honestly, definitely, when I haven't started the app, I am more active, because I think I used to have more time to engage in sports. But after I started, I try to be disciplined, and I try to engage in one fitness activity at least once a week. Yeah, but I think this is one of the things that every entrepreneur has to overcome to manage your time properly. Because we always, I'm a workaholic. So it's very hard.
No, you a workaholic? I don't believe it. You've been a workaholic all your life, man. My goodness.
Now, you started the app with your own funding.
Yep.
How is the app doing now in terms of funds and profit?
Profitability, I suppose.
Yeah.
also.
Since 2019, our company has been able to break even. Initially, when I started the company, I used to have this idea that most of the startups are just losing money, especially the tech ones.
Yeah.
And we just continue getting funding and
Round
grow
A,
bigger.
round B, yeah.
Yeah, but slowly, after I do the business for a while, I feel that this is not the kind of business I want to build. I feel that we should start making money as soon as we can, so that we stop relying on potential investors' money. And I don't have to, every day when I sleep, I worry about, I only left 6 months. Later, no more money already.
Yeah.
So I started to change the business model and start to focus on profitability. So in 2019 onwards, every month we are breaking even.
All right.
Even during COVID-19.
Exactly. I was wondering how you got.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even during COVID-19, we are able to break even.
Okay. Just not
Wow,
bad.
that's great. I mean, it's difficult times right now, but
Yep.
everyone still needs to get up and move, right?
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your advice then to people who use age as an excuse to stop them from excelling, whether it's an older age or like yourself, very much younger?
I think at any point of time in your life, definitely you have your own strength and your own weakness. And I think the trick is to know your strength and weakness and acknowledge them and to work according to your strength. If you ask me right now, I think there is no perfect age to start a company or do anything else. Yeah, there's no perfect age.
Just do it.
Yeah, I think the biggest obstacle of all aspiring entrepreneurs is the gap of thinking about it and doing it. Most of them have just filtered at that part.